Back when I was 18, 20 years old, like most people just getting started, I didn't have two nickels to rub together. So if I needed mining equipment, I pretty much had to build it. Some of my stuff I built worked pretty well. Other stuff, well, we just won't talk about that. But what I want to cover in this video is one thing I did build that worked real well, and that is how to build a crevice tool out of this. Okay, now, got us a windshield wiper here, and we want to turn this baby into a crevice tool. Okay, one of the first things we need to do is you have this part here. We need to get rid of that, and we need to get rid of this. Now, before we get into that, the actual arm here, some of these are really high quality. This one here is not bad. You want one that's hard to bend, that's good quality hard spring steel. I've come across these over the years. Some of them are they just bend really easy and they're no good for this. And other ones have given me years of service, they were so hard. First thing we want to do is get rid of this part and then get this off. Now some of these, you can just unclip this and it'll come off. This one here is on there. We're just going to have to smack with the hammer and get it off. Okay, let's get started on that. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to get this pin out of here. Now, over the years, I've come across different types of pins. Most of them you can just drive out with a punch. We're going to give that a go, but you got to bear in mind that they're spring loaded. You know, sometimes it's easier to go ahead and bend this little tab here and get the spring loose, but we're going to try this without it. Now, nowadays I have the luxury of this beautiful little anvil here I never used to have, but in the old days I did this on the bumper of my truck. You just knock that pin down there a little bit, and that pin will come right on out. Now let's get a different punch. And we'll just go ahead and drive that on out. And now this whole setup will come out of here. Okay, that takes care of that end. Now let's move on to this end. Okay, now to get this off, what I like to do is usually they got a little pin in here holding this on. Just smack that with the hammer and that'll come right out of there. And that will get rid of that piece. Now we still have this on the end of here. We want to get this off. What I like to do, get on the vise there, that will loosen it up. And let me grab a screwdriver. Sometimes you got to use pliers, sometimes you got to use a screwdriver. But you can take and set that on there and knock that piece right off. Okay. There's our finished product. We're ready for the fun part now. Now, when I first started doing this, you know, I didn't have the anvil in the shop and all that. I heated this end up on my, I had a gas stove and I'd heat it up red hot in the gas stove and I'd run outside and beat on it on the back bumper of my old truck. Now I got the advantage of this anvil here, and rather than use a gas stove, we're just going to use a good old propane torch. The method of heating it up and bending it, you'll vary on what you got available, but basically you got to make the end of this red hot. Now there's two different designs we can do here, let me get in a little closer on this. Okay, we can bend this in this direction like this and make a hook out of it, or we can straighten it up and bend it this way and make a wide blade tool. This way we're going to bend it this way and make a narrow blade tool. Today we're going to turn this one into a narrow blade. They're a little tougher to make, and so I wanted to show you the method to do that. So what we got to do now is we got to heat this up, put a point on it, and put a curve in it. Now you want to make sure you have your hammer ready for this part. And what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and heat this up. Okay, now you can see here we got a nice healthy red glow. And what we want to do is we want to work this tip out to a sharp point. Okay, explain here what I'm doing is I'm taking this, turning it up this way, I will hammer it down, which will flatten it out, then you have to turn it back on its side, hit it this way to keep it the same thickness, and you just keep going that way, you keep hammering this way until you elongate that and put a point on it. Okay, so we're just going to keep going on that until we get a point on it. You know, we've worked it on out, got a good sharp point on it, got a bit of a curve. We want a little more curve, but we haven't changed our thickness any. We still are maintaining the same thickness. And that's what you got to make sure. You don't want to get that too thin on the end because it'll wear out too quick. Okay, so we're going to heat this up again, and we're going to go ahead and finish our curvature on it. Okay, now we want to just kind of hammer that around that horn, keep it nice and flat, make sure it's not twisting on us. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Now you do not have to have an anvil to do this. Over the years, I've hammered these out on the curb out in front of the house. I've hammered around on a piece of pipe, on the tow ball on the back of my truck. All you need is something hard with somewhat of the shape you want to go to. Like I say, years ago I didn't have an anvil, so you can do this on just about anything. Now that we got our point on this, we got a curve in it, now comes the important part. By heating this up red hot and shaping it, we have now taken the temper out of the metal. This is really soft now. We need to put that temper back into the metal so it's hard and it'll wear for a long time. So to do that step, we're going to heat it up red hot again, and then we're going to quench it in water. And the trick is getting it the right color. Okay, now we're heating this back up. Now what we're after is we want a bright cherry red. especially out here on the very tip. So I'm going to heat that up a little more, and as soon as I get that cherry red color, I'm going to dip it in the water. Okay, there's our red. Now we dip it. Pull it back out. Wait for it to heat up again. Then dip it. Now, this is tempered. This is now hard. It's back to the way it was before we started messing with it. What we have now is a nice, light, strong crevice tool. Okay, now if you want to make a flat blade tool, bend it, so you got a wider tool so you can pull more out of the crevice. It's the same process, you just bend a 90 in it. I was going to take and show you that on this same tool, but to be honest with you, this one came out really nice, and I don't want to ruin it. I'm going to use this one. The beauty of these is if you go off and leave them up on the hill, they don't cost you nothing, other than just a little bit of time to make. Well, that's pretty much it as far as making it. Now the next question is, where do you get one? Anytime I'm up in the hills and I see, where somebody is pushing an old vehicle over the edge or something, I'll go down there and check, see if it's got windshield wipers on it. Got windshield wipers on it, I check them. If they're good ones, I grab them, throw them in the back of the truck, and just save them. You can go to junkyards, you got friends that got old vehicles, they're going to get rid of them, grab the windshield wipers. I mean, there are millions of these things, they're all over the place. You can get them for next to nothing or free. Other than that, the only thing we got left to do to this baby is make it a good tool is to wrap the handle with duct tape, and I prefer the red, that way they stand out and you don't go off and leave them. Other than that, we're good to go. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you click on the little bell up there, you'll get notification the next time I make a video. Till then, you have a wonderful day.